Hi, I'm Maggie Weldon from Maggie's Crochet, and this video is sponsored by Premier Yarns. I'll be showing you how to make the blooming granny square, and to make this square all you do is 4 rounds of the basic granny square, and then when you're finished with that, on rounds 1 and 2 you go back and do a little chain 3 and a slip stitch over the top to create this little flower. This sample was made with Deborah Norville Serenity Chunky Weight yarn, so it works up really fast, and this is available in 30+ colors and is a great yarn to work with. And I have another sample here that I worked in the everyday yarn, and this comes in over 70 colors and it's super soft, and it has a special anti-pilling acrylic in it, so it's really great. It doesn't like pill up like the acrylic yarns that we're typically using these days. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching the video, and links to everything that you see me use in the video will be listed below. Thank you for watching. This square starts with 4 rounds of granny square, so that's what I'm going to show you first. You start with a slip knot, and I leave about a 5 or 6 inch end on my slip knot, and then you put that on your hook like that, and you chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You join with a slip stitch to form a ring, so I'll be going right in here, yarn over, and then bring that through the loop on my hook. And then there's a ring right here. You don't want to work back into here because you'll be working back into the starting chain. You want to go right in here, the center of the ring. So to start my first round, I'm going to chain 5, and that's going to count as my first double crochet, and chain 2 all the way through at the very beginning. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then I'm going to work a group of 3 double crochets into the ring, into the center of the ring, and I'm also working over the end of my starting chain. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to chain 2 for the corner, and then 3 more double crochets into the ring. And then I'm going to chain 2 for the corner again, and 3 more double crochets into the center chain. Then I'm going to chain 2 for the next corner. Now I've got 3 sides with each one of the groups here creates the side of the square, and the chain 2 creates the corners. So I'm going to chain 2 for this last corner, and this right here needs 2 more double crochets to complete the group on that side. So I'm going to put 2 doubles there, like that, and then I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the first double crochet. So I count 1, 2, 3, and that will be the equivalent of the first double crochet, and I insert my hook from front to back, yarn over, bring that through, and then bring that through the loop on my hook. And that completes round 1 of my granny square. And the reason why I work over my end of my starting chain is so that when I get done I can pull that and not have a hole in the middle. If you don't care about that, you don't really have to do it that way, but that's the way I like to do it. So now the other reason why the other thing that I do that might be different for you is that this chain 5. But I like doing the chain 5 because that puts me right at the next corner. And I can work all my rounds from the right side instead of flipping back and forth. So now I'm just going to slip stitch into the first chain 2 space, and to do that I insert my hook from front to back, draw a loop out, bring that through the loop on my hook, and I'm going to chain 5 again. Every corner is going to start like that. And then I'm going to work a group of 3 double crochets into that same space. And then I'm going to chain 1 right here, and I'm going to work a shell of 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets in the corner. Chain 2 space. So there's my 3 doubles, and I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to put 3 more doubles into the same space. And then I'm going to chain 1 for the side. So now I've got 2 corner chain 2 spaces. I've got a chain 1 in between them on the side. And chain 1, and then this is my last corner here. See right there? 1, 2, 3, and chain 2. And then chain 1 for the side. Okay, now when I come back around, I need to add more to my first corner because I only have the equivalent of 1 double crochet here, and I needed 3 on this side. So I'm going to go back into the first corner that I worked and just add 2 more double crochets. And then you just join with a slip stitch to the first double crochet. So you count 1, 2, 3, and that's where you join. So I'm going to insert my hook from front to back, yarn over, draw that loop up, and you bring that through the loop on my hook. And that completes round 2. So now I'm going to slip stitch again into that corner. Then I'm going to chain 5 again. So every round like this, you could keep doing this forever and ever and ever. And it'll be the same type of pattern. So it's 3, 4, 5, and then you put the 3 doubles into that corner like that, and then you chain 1, and then in that chain 1 space on the side you're going to put a group of 3 double crochets. Okay, the next corner, you want to put a shell of 3 double crochets, just like we did in the previous round. 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. And then you chain 1. There's always, on my pattern, people do their granny squares different, but on my pattern, I have a chain 1 in between every group like this. So you just continue around like that, and you put your group of 3 double crochets along the side. So that's how you do round 3, and then round 4, if you look at round 4 here, it's the shell on the corner, chain 1, and you see that you now have 2 groups of 3 double crochets. So each round, when you do if you did another round, you'd have 3 groups. So each round you just have 1 more group of 3 double crochets. So that's all you do to complete your square, and when you finish off, leave a really long end, and then I'll show you how to sew your squares together. So now I've completed round 4, and as you can see, I've got 2 groups of 3 double crochets on the sides and then the shell on the corners. Now I'm going to join and finish off, so I thought I'd show you that. So you just slip stitch in the third chain. So I'm going to yarn over, bring that through. Then I'm going to chain one more time just like this. And I'm going to tighten the back side of it. Okay, then I leave quite a long end, maybe 18 inches or so. I cut that. And I want this for sewing. And the other advantage of doing your granny square like this is that chain 5, when you join right here, it puts you right in the corner, so when you go to sew it together, like your end is right there. So I like it for that too. So before I show you how to sew these squares together, I'm going to show you how to put this little trim on here. Okay, so you take your contrasting yarn, and you want a really good contrast or else it's not going to show up. Okay, and you make a slip knot again. Okay, and this is worked in the corners of round 1 and up in the center double crochet of the 3 double crochet groups of round 2 and in round 1. So you zigzag back and forth with chains and single crochets to create this little trim here. So I'm gonna start in any corner, and I want to go into that chain 2 space that's buried underneath that shell there of round 1. So I'm just gonna pull those apart right there so I can see it. And to join with a single crochet, you start with a loop on your hook. You insert the hook from front to back, and then yarn over, bring that forward, yarn over, and bring that through the 2 loops on your hook, just like that. So then I chain 3, and then I'm going to single crochet in the next center double crochet of the next, I'm going to single crochet in the center double crochet of the next 3 double crochet group of round 2. So that would be right here. So I'm going to single crochet, chain 3, then I'm going back down to round 1, so it's back and forth between the 2 rounds, and I'm going to go in that center double crochet right there, and then I'm going to chain 3, then I'm going back up to round 2, and then I'm going to chain 3, and then I'm going down into the chain 2 space of round 1 corner. So I'm going to push these apart. I'm going to go in here and work a single crochet. Chain 3. Once you get the hang of it, it's really easy. And then I'm going to single crochet onto round 2. You always go back and forth. You should be on round 2 and then on round 1 and then round 2. Go back and forth. So I'm going down here to round 1. Chain 3 and back up to round 2 right here, and then chain 3. Then I'm going back down to the chain 2 space of round 1 with a single, chain 3, and then back up here, and then chain 3, and then back down here, and then chain 3, and then back up here, chain 3, and then I'm going back down into the corner. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going back up to round 2 right here, and then 1, 2, 3, and then back down here, 1, 2, 3, and then back up here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm back where I joined. So all I need to do is join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. So I'm just going to go in here, yarn over, bring that through, and bring that through the loop on my hook. And then I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to tighten the back. I'm going to trim this one not so long, but it's going to be, I go like this, so that's probably about 5 inches maybe. And I'm going to go like this, and then just pull the yarn out, and that locks the stitch right there. And then I'll sew that in like that. So then that creates a cute little trim on a granny square. And you don't really know it's a granny square underneath there when after you put that trim under there. I'm going to show you how to sew these squares together, and there are several ways to sew squares together, but this is just my version, the way I do it most of the time. What I do is I just pick up the back loop of each one of these stitches. I match the exact double crochet stitch with this one over here, and I go back and forth, and I'm only pick up the back loops. And then when I get done, it's what's called an invisible seam, and all you see is that little ridge right here. You can see it right here. I sewed it together like that. So to thread your needle, you take this and you fold it over the side of the eye of your needle, and you pinch super tight, and then you open your pinched fingers just a little bit, just enough to get the eye of the needle over the folded part of the yarn, and then you push that over it, and then you pull that fold out of the needle like that. Okay, so I'm right here at the corner. So what I'm going to do is work from the wrong side. So I have the two right sides here, and I'm going to fold them to face each other. And I'm right here. So I'm going to pick up both of these chains in the corner. There's two. And I am going to match this chain with that outer chain right there. So, and I'm not picking up the inside loop, I'm picking up the back loop right here, and I've got the back loop over on this side too. So I'm going in here, and then I'm going over here. And then pull it all through like that. And then because it's the corner, I'm going to go over that one more time like this. Okay, that's the first chain. Then I go into the next chain like this and like this. Okay. Now I'm ready to start matching up my double crochet stitches. So I need to go into this first one here and match it up with this one over here. And I'm going into the back loop. I'm not picking up this loop. So I'm just going to pick up one from each side, one loop from each side. And then right here, I'm going here and over there. And then here and here. And then now I'm matching up the chain. So I'm going to match up this chain, the chain one that's between the 3 double crochet groups, with that chain over there like that. And then I'm down here to this one. Now I'm matching up the next 3 double crochet group. And after all of your work making these granny squares, you definitely want to sew it together good so it doesn't fall apart. Especially if you're giving it as a gift, you don't want it to fall apart. Okay, so when you get a little ways along, this is probably about 3 inches into it, you want to pull this to make sure it's kind of snug. You don't want to pull it too much where it gathers, but you want to pull it so it's really straight in there. And you might want to check your other side, make sure you're doing good. So here I've got, the reason why I went into both chains is so that I don't have a little dip right here. So even though I caught that second chain there, it's caught like right at the base of it. So you still, basically you can still see the chain is still there. So, so that's how you sew the squares together, and you just continue down, and when you get to the end you sew the 2 corner chains together, and then sew in your ends. And to sew in your ends, I'll do this one right here. You do the same thing, you thread your needle, and wherever you come out, wherever your yarn comes out, you want to go behind it just a little bit. Now this is that end of the starting chain that I worked over, so I kind of pull that tight, and then I came out right here, so I'm going to go just about 1/8 of an inch behind it and then come out maybe a 1/2 inch away from it out here. And then I'm going to go behind that again and back out, and then behind and back out, then behind it and back out. So that's gonna stay pretty secure in there. I might have wanted to go into the green so you wouldn't see those little green things, but, and then when you cut, don't cut down into it, you cut flat like this. So that's how you do that. Okay, so that's how you make the granny square, put the trim on, and sew your squares together. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. I enjoyed doing them, and all the links to everything that I used in the video, the yarn, the hooks, everything will be below the video wherever you're watching it. So there'll be links to the pattern, to the crochet hooks, to the yarn, and everything. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy crochet.